Hey there, this is Brian from Allegra Marketing, and I want to talk today about a program called ProspectConnect. Now, ProspectConnect is very specifically designed for companies in the B2B space to identify their top prospects that they want to chase and put together a systematized approach to getting in front of those people. So, the first thing that we always talk about is the dueling forces of sales versus marketing. Some people view them as opposing forces. We like to see them as two pieces of the same puzzle. So, what we tend to see sometimes is that people will conflate the two and combine the two and twist the two. So sometimes, they'll order uniforms and say, oh, that goes out of the marketing budget, and think, oh, we hit our marketing budget for the year. But with our programs, we like to see them as completely separate pieces that are very, very highly targeted and subsequently easier to track and to maintain. So we do have a program that is called Direct Connect that is for the B2C space that combines direct mail with Google and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and a whole bunch of other stuff. But our program, Prospect Connect, is very highly targeted to B2B companies. So when we say highly targeted, it's because it's completely customized to you. What the promo items and things like that that accompany this are going to be very customized to your business and what you're trying to approach in the context that you're trying to get in front of. It's very systematized. We have tracking spreadsheets and things that you'll see. It combines multiple channels just like Direct Connect does, where we're hitting them from several different channels, an omni-channel approach. And it's designed, as I said, for B2B companies. So I'm going to share with you the program that we put together. We've done several of these, but this is the one that we've used for our own purposes. So the first week of the program you'll see is in the left column there. So the activity is that they're going to get a postcard. So our postcards, we designed a series that has the 4 steps that you saw in the previous one that are very specific to the campaign that we're trying to promote, which is our Direct Connect program of combining multiple channels to get in front of your audience. So you'll notice that in week 2, when that second postcard goes out, it also starts our email drip campaign, where starting 1 week after that first postcard, they get an email. They should be getting the second postcard as well. But the email automations are designed to look a lot like the postcards did. If you remember the previous slide, you'll see that those look a lot like those. You'll see some of them, we have little videos that they can link to, or like in this case, it's a downloadable asset that has very pertinent information for them. This one is 5 tips to help prospects find you and keep coming back for more. So then they click on it and they go here, and here's our branding, here's our phone number. Then after they have already received postcard 1, postcard 2, email 1, and possibly postcard 2 and email 2, then we're going to drop by. In our case, we use notepads, customized notepads. We've done this before with promotional items, we did one for a Bears player who used a little orange and blue football for the Bears. Go Bears. But like in this case, we personalize the notepad for their company, not for us. It's for their company. So we find their logo, we personalize our notepad, give it to them. At the bottom, nice and small, it says notepad courtesy of Allegra with our phone number. Because the whole point is whatever you're going to leave behind has got to be something that is pertinent to them that they might leave on their desk or they might use. Like we did one recently for a State Farm agent who they're finally allowed to insure bars that have liquor. So for the first time in their history, so we developed a campaign that has little bottle openers with it, and that's how we're getting into restaurants. His girls are going and dropping those off. If they're not in, here's just kind of a sales tip: get the name of the person you dropped it off to. So if you walk into a big company and you're trying to deliver this to Ron and he's not there, but Sally at the front desk takes the notepad from you, because then you can say, hey, you remember that notepad I dropped off with Sally? So immediately, like the same day when you get back from dropping off the notepads, you should reach out to them on LinkedIn. So now at this point, by the time they get your LinkedIn request, they've gotten 3 postcards, 2 emails, and a physical visit from you and a gift. So at that point, even though they don't know you, they should at least recognize your name and hopefully accept your LinkedIn friend request. After that is when the phone calls start. So at this point, they've now gotten 3 postcards, possibly 4, a physical visit, 3 emails, and now you're going to start calling them. So the likelihood of them at least recognizing your name is much higher. So follow up, follow up, follow up. I have no association with this book. I just thought it was appropriate. It's called Pick Up the Damn Phone. So the phone calls have to be made. So you got to do it. If you're a sales manager, you got to make sure that your salespeople that are running this campaign do it. So in order to track that, we built a customized spreadsheet for each one. So in this case, we've got when we did the mail, drop by, and they automatically tally across. So it adds a week in between each one. We can customize that if you've got something that happens 3 days after or whatever. So we build a little tracking spreadsheet. We can build it as a Google Doc so you can easily all have access to it. But this shows you like, okay, when the 8th hits, you got to follow up with those people. Now this one I'm showing you is a smaller one, but you'll see how it compounds. So as you're doing this, you wind up with a whole bunch more calls and stuff to make. So don't overload yourself. Don't think you can do 10 or 20 a week, because if there's 10 steps involved and you've got to be doing 10 drop-offs, 10 follow-up calls to this one, 10 follow-up calls to this one, and 10 follow-up calls to this one, it's going to compound. So don't overload yourself. Pick a manageable number. This system is both automated and manual. So automated in the sense that you know exactly when you're going to do stuff. If you're combining it with a drip campaign, those emails are automatically triggered. If Allegra, for instance, is doing mailers for you, then those mailers automatically go out on those certain dates that we agree upon in that Google spreadsheet. So we can have access to that spreadsheet as well to help you manage the campaign, because one of my favorite quotes from Tony Robbins in his Business Mastery program is, complexity is the enemy of execution. So the harder you make it, the less likely it is to get done. So by partnering with Allegra, if we can take off the steps of mailing out certain things or packages or postcards, whatever it is, then we can do that. Or even like if we're preparing notepads, you send us notepads by this day, we'll have it for you this day for your sales guys to be able to get out on the road. So here are the expectations. So yes, it is work on your part. So if you're a salesperson, the work comes in following the program and doing the drop-offs and making the calls. If you're a sales manager, it's your work is going to be tracking what your salespeople are doing and making sure that they're filling in all the things, so that we're communicating back with Allegra so that we know what we're doing, they know what they're doing. So it's not as simple as just purchase a list and let it go. You do have to do the work for it. So once the manual parts are done, then the automated parts kick in until it's your turn again. So like I said, in the original example, we do the postcards, we start those mailing, then you start with the physical drop-offs and stuff like that, but then we're following up with the rest of the mailings and all the subsequent stuff that goes with it. So it's truly a partnership. We work with you to be successful. As a sales manager, you get to be the cheerleader, but you also have to make sure everyone's on track and accountable. So we can do it manually, or you just make note cards and put those in there. Or in one case, we did a big spreadsheet that they hang on their wall, and then they cross it off. And when they get a hold of somebody, they would ring a little bell and everybody would celebrate. Or we can do it as a Google Doc, whatever works for you. So here's a real world example of the bear that I was talking about earlier, the Chicago Bear. So he joined a insurance company, and he was trying to expand their business insurance world. The partner that he partnered with had a huge following in personal insurance. So a lot of her people in the personal side were business owners. So she had, this 10, 15-year history, and she wanted to introduce him to her customers so that he could talk to them about business insurance. So the plan was week 1 that she would do 10 email introductions per week, and then the new guy, the bear, would reply to all saying, hey, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Week 2, we were stuffing thank you cards in envelopes. The envelopes had the pre-written handwriting font on them, and we warehouse those at Allegra so that they didn't have to touch them. And we also then uploaded the emails into their constant contact. Week 3, phone calls start to be made by the rep. Week 4, we did what we call a lump email. So this was a bright orange reflective envelope, like if you've ever received those pens from National Pen or something like that. You get this crinkly package and you just have to open it. So it was a lump email with a little orange football with blue lettering with the name of his company on it. Then week 5, we did week 4, there was a second mailer that went with that. In the final version of this, that was a letter that we helped him create about how the Bears went to the Super Bowl that year and all that. Then week 5 is when he started making phone calls. Week 6, if he's not connected through all of those means, he then shows up with one of his books. So now he had the luxury that his name was well known, unlike most of us. So for him at the tail end to do the follow-up made more sense. So here's how that looked like when we mapped it out. There's our week 1 activities, there's our week 2 activities, our week 3 activities. So you can see, as opposed to the one I showed you earlier, these ones are not spaced a week apart. You've got 9/1, 9/3. So, we send that first email from the partner, and 2 days later, we're dropping the thank you cards in the mail. Then the following week, he reaches out on LinkedIn, and then 2 days later starts doing the phone calls, and then we drop the shiny football in the mail. Then the following week, he makes a second phone call, and we're dropping that second. It's also a shiny envelope. It was just flat as opposed to lumpy like the other one, with the letter about the winning, how having a good defense, which the Bears are known for, is what you need in the insurance world for your business. So how defense wins football games. And then week 4 was his drop-by visit. So how that ended up breaking down for him was, he would have certain days of the week he knew what he had to do. Because when I first met him, he said, I'm a football guy. Give me a plan and I'll implement it. But he didn't know how to make the plan. So we helped him figure out the plan. So that is ProspectConnect in a nutshell. So as you can see, and as you probably heard, I mentioned a couple of different, scenarios that we've done this for. There are many different ways to approach it. The bottle opener was a drop by ahead of time. Our notepads, we drop by ahead of time. The football guy was a drop by after the fact. But we're doing the implementation and processes that we need to do before, after, and during. So some of it, a lot of it is planning, coming up with what that schedule is going to look like, coming up with what you think is going to get that door open so that you can get in with those prospects that you're looking to do. That's ProspectConnect. I'd be happy to answer any questions. My name is Brian Walsh, Allegra Marketing Print and Mail, 847-963-0000. Made it really easy. And our website to go with ProspectConnect and Direct Connect is Allegra Connect. So I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.